Okay, we'll give this another shot.
Fucking Omar ruins everything.
Let's see if
That's what you motherfuckers get for talking about me behind my back.
That's what you get for having too many Hispanics on at once. God.
I am a little blurry. Am I laggy?
No, you're not lagging or anything.
No, I don't think so.
The video looks a little rough on you, Jess, but
It's weird.
I think we're okay.
Okay. Yeah, I do see that I've got a blurry video. I don't. I'm not sure. I don't want to try it again.
Don't touch anything.
Before we go on, we need to talk about in-stock trades, probably. InStockTrades.com, where you can get your collected editions up to 50% off. Loyalty discounts add 2% to that. We have an Omnibros Live code that we just used that will be coming back next quarter. Over $50 in an order gets you free shipping in the United States, fabulous customer service, fabulous packaging. That's InStockTrades.com. And we are live with Omar, and nothing's gone wrong.
I made a lot of mistakes in my life, Jess. Let's not say that.
Omar's gonna get swatted.
Okay.
I think that it got cut out because Omar was coming a little too close to the truth with all his DC cancellations ideas.
I can't believe I went on a rant for 10 minutes before somebody said, "Hey, we're not online anymore."
Yeah, and the little deal he said offline or off air or whatever, and no one noticed.
I was spitting the truth, man.
We were all kind of in the moment on that subject still.
Yeah, it's a sore subject, right? Like, I know a lot of my favorite books are going to get canceled, so it's going to hit close to home soon. If the Hush Omnibus already didn't, but I know I have a fear that the DC Zero Hour is the one that's going to come up next. Is the one that gets canceled? And
no, I don't think so. That's already been final. That's already been on the FOC, so I doubt it.
Yeah, but so was Batman Hush. Batman Hush was revealed.
Right, and then right after the FOC is when it got canceled. That was my speculation on the whole thing on Sunday, is that they're waiting for those FOC numbers to come in. If those FOC numbers, they must have like lowered or raised their need of order numbers to continue with these books, and they haven't been hitting at the FOC, and that's what's making them cut them off. Is what I'm thinking, because it keeps happening right after the FOC.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, to recap what we said offline, it seems like DC has been playing the catch-up game for a long time, and it's getting harder and harder for them to try to figure out what to release next. So hopefully, first of all, I hate to hear anybody losing their job. That really sucks because I've been there. So it's kind of one of those things like somebody, these people lost their jobs, and a lot of those projects are going to go away now that they were working on. We don't know what some of those are yet because we don't know what else is going to be canceled, but we were told that there's going to be some other books.
Yeah.
Maybe this time around they can get somebody with a good vision to actually give them some kind of guidance as to what to release. So really quick, like I was in the Omnibus game day one at Marvel, and then at DC, it was like a waiting game of like, okay, where are my Batman omnis? Where are my Superman omnis? Where's any Wonder Woman omnibus? It's ridiculous that Nightfall, I know how much Jess loves that story, just got released.
Oh shit!
2.5 years ago? That's how long we had to wait for Batman Nightfall. See, Marvel had the formula right off the bat. Marvel knew we got to release the events. We got to go with Infinity Gauntlet. They went through fucking Atlantis attacks. They went through fucking Evolutionary War. They went through everything just about. So much so that the only, I think I can think of at least, the only event that they haven't released in an omnibus or a box set format was House of M. And I'm sure that's coming. Whereas DC had all these huge events they could have released in omnibus format, or any of these John Byrne, Man of Steel comic books that they could have done. But instead, we went through like 3 printings of The Death of Superman. The first time they fucked it up by leaving out the Matrix storyline, and in that horrible standard size omnibus and horrible newspaper print. The second time they got it right, but then the third time has like it's a different collection. Like it's other books, and they took out some of the other ones from the second printing. So it seems like nobody is talking to each other in the collected editions department. So there's a lot of things that they did wrong, and this is all speculation as to why this happened. But that's my 2 cents.
It seems sometimes like they don't have people who actually read the books who are putting these together. And it's just like someone who's trying to put together a map, like slap it together haphazardly, and it just doesn't always work out. But
Right. Contrary to popular belief, Wikipedia does not have all your answers, guys.
Yeah.
You actually need somebody in there that knows how to map these books together. Yeah. Peter.
Yeah, I was going to say you need a Peter in there. Marvel also, on top of releasing the events, they did their diligence in releasing, and I know it's taken a while on some of these, but the classic Silver Age runs, like you have Avengers and Spider-Man and the X-Men books, and then the Bronze Age Claremont X-Men, Fantastic Four, like all of these have been coming out steadily over the past however many years, and they spaced them out like several years, but they're coming out and we're getting those books. So they're doing those big starting runs of the Marvel Universe, and they've made sure to do that for a while. And DC is kind of like trying to with the Golden Age stuff, but like you said, they're trying to catch up, and they're doing, trying to put too much out there when the audience for those Golden Age books is not as big as they're anticipating it to be, and they have to raise the price. And it might be something to do with the fact that they're, you mentioned when we were offline, I think, that the restoration on that stuff is probably expensive, and that might be one of the reasons why they had to raise the price. But I do think that part of it is because they're not having as much sales on those books as they anticipated, and they have to raise the profit margin to make up for some losses.
Right. End of the day, this is still a business.
Omar, before you came in, I did mention with the DC cancellations, though, that DC is not, it's not uncommon for them to cancel books. It's something, and that's why you always talk about, you're like, I don't let go of my previous version of it to upgrade until I have the other one in hand, or like until we've seen the pictures of it, basically, is what you've said multiple times. And the only time that I've ever been burnt is with this Hush one, because I sold my stuff and it's not coming out now, apparently, unless it's resolicited as something else, which is possible, because some of the things that they've canceled in the past have been resolicited. They resolicited, I mentioned this earlier when you were not here, but they resolicited Batman and Robin a couple years later after it was canceled as what's now Batman by Morrison Volume 2. So
that's right, they did.
I don't know if the cancellations, because I don't know everything that was canceled. I just know Batgirl.
You're on YouTube. You know everything.
I know Batgirl and I know Hush. I know those two were canceled. Everything else, I don't remember what exactly was canceled. But it's possible that it's just the fact that multiple happened at the same time, and that we got the side news about people being laid off, and it kind of makes this story out of itself that people believe like something big is happening. But I think that regardless of the facts that both DC and Marvel are cutting back on their output of these books this year, because I think that they both oversaturated the market by putting out way too many Omnis the past couple years, and making us as the consumers have to choose which ones we're going to buy.
In a way, they did that with the Epic line too. Like, and I'll talk about that in a second. But the thing that I will never forget about DC, and you just, when you said that it's like these people that are putting these books together don't know how to map these books out, I will never forget JSA Volume 1. When JSA Volume 1 was announced, it wasn't containing any of the James Robinson stuff. The what's his name? The Goyer. Any of the Goyer stuff. It was just the Jeff Johns. So you were literally missing the beginning of the story in the first 5 issues of JSA.
Which is the same that they did with the New Teen Titans Omnibus, the original printings, where they cut out anything that was not Wolfman and Perez.
You had the Lonely Place of Dying, the 5-part crossover event, and you missed 2 of those parts because they were in the... Or, I'm sorry, 3 of those parts because they were in the Batman.
And they skipped over like there was like they skipped over one issue over
2 years,
and then they skipped over like 2 years of material. Yeah,
it's so the new printings are, at least this is what's giving me hope. Now whether a Volume 4 comes out or not, I don't know. But anyway,
so we'll see. But we do have this review to do.
Let's do that. Let's do it. Super Sons.
So who wants to start? Gabe's stuffing his face, and Jess is falling asleep.
No, I'm fine. Am I still blurry? At least I'm not lagging, I guess.
You're a little bit blurry, but you're definitely not lagging.
Okay.
I can see you, or I can hear you just fine.
Okay.
I know. I think this is one of those books that it's gonna go around, and we're all gonna say the same thing about it. But Jess, what did you think?
I'm just looking at why I have a blurry lag time issue going on in my stupid feed. I don't get it. Okay, well I'll you know, I've rebooted. I've redone the router, so I'll just keep it short.
How much porn are you streaming?
What? Okay, good. I'll keep my comments short because I'm having issues with my video. I loved Super Sons. I loved everything about it. It is fun. You see, I know that's a common complaint in my house that I say everything's fun because I think it is fun, but you see growth, the growing friendship between these two, Damian and Jonathan Kent, son of Batman, son of Superman. You see Jonathan start to develop powers. You see Damian starting to soften up a little teeny bit, but seeing growth between these two as they grow up and grow closer is really kind of a singular experience. I just really enjoyed watching these kids as they're adapting to each other, adapting to their circumstance, and I loved the dynamic between them, and it's just a ton of fun. This book is just it's not expensive, $75 cover price. You get a lot of reading for that, and the storylines I thought were excellent. They were. I don't know how you can make it better than Tomasi already did. The artwork great, but the stories were really inventive. I don't know how you could do better than picking these two kids. The inventive storylines were really, really something to behold, and I just think this is one of the best books I've read recently. I had an absolute blast. And that's me keeping it short.
I concur. I agree. Absolute blast is the way that I would describe it. It's one of those books I think my wife has dibs reading it next, and then my 9-year-old is going to read it. And,
nice.
So I'm excited to talk to both of them about it because it was such a great and fun book. So that is exactly what Jess said. The one thing I will add about this is normally with books like this, I know where to kind of stop reading it. Like, even in my Omnis, I know not to read like the side story sometimes because I'm like, oh, they're a waste of time. It's not the same creative team. So when I got to the Dino Mutt story, right, and I was like, all right, I don't have to read this bullshit. But I was so hooked by the third page. I'm like, I couldn't put it down. I'm like, oh my God, this is so good. I'm feeling for these stupid ass characters. Like, it was so emotional. Like, the story of Dino Mutt.
It really was.
And that's the kind of, those are the cartoons I grew up with as a kid. And I know Jess did too.
Yeah.
Those Hanna-Barbera cartoons. And I was like, oh my God, this is actually really damn good. And I would love to read a ongoing Dino Mutt and Super Sons comic. Like, just all of them together. But everything about this was great. I wish there was more elements of like the Frankenstein monster or some of the Darwin Cook stuff that they used in the Superman story in this. But I get it. You know, they had to do their own thing. It was a solid read. It was fun from beginning to end. And it's missing. The only thing this doesn't have is the 12 issues. The Adventure. Is it the Adventures of the Super Sons? What is it, Ryley?
Yeah,
Adventures of the Super Sons.
But that is still coming out right now
as a hardcover, right?
It's still being published in singles right now.
Okay.
So it hasn't concluded. So I was actually going to mention that whenever I was talking about this. Anything else for you, Omar?
No, I just wanted to add the fact that I was a damn fool for saying I'm going to skip this Dynamite story. Don't skip it.
No,
Fucking
dude, those crossovers, the Hanna-Barbera and like Looney Tunes crossovers that they've been doing, every wave, because they'll do like 4 at a time, it's either 1 or 2 every time they do those waves of miniseries. 1 or 2 of them are just really freaking good. And usually it's like, oh, Mark Russell did this? Okay, this is going to be great. But yeah, this was one of the really good ones from the now unfortunately defunct Hanna-Barbera line of books at DC. The last surviving book was going to be Scooby Apocalypse, and it recently they announced that it was ending. So womp womp. Yeah, I really enjoyed this one too. I remember they introduced Jonathan in an issue of Superman, and kind of early on in the Rebirth series, and I was like, man, this is cool. Like this is going to be a cool thing to see. Or maybe they introduced him in like the mini series. I don't know, but he was around in Rebirth Superman. I was like, this is a cool character. I really like the concept of having Lois and Clark have a kid and raise that kid and all that good stuff. And then very soon after, like they were using him in that series, they announced that he was going to be featured in this book alongside Damian. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. And also, I love Damian. And also, it's written by Peter Tomasi. Okay, yeah, I'm sold. So I was on this like white on rice, man. Like this book, when it started coming out, was just immediately one of my favorites on the stands because, and not to like just hammer it into everyone's face over and over again, because it was so fun. And that's just how it was. Like it was just simply a fun book. It's, you know, I'm spending my days reading these, you know, really dour you know, Batman comics about him being suicidal, and like, you know, manga about robot murder and stuff like that. And it's like, this is a nice breather from all that. Like Jess mentioned, there's a lot of really great character development. We get to see, as Tomasi did with Damian throughout his run on Batman and Robin, he's continuing to soften that character into someone that's more of a normal child, more kind of, you know, as normal as you can be for the son of Batman, but that acts a little bit more like a normal child. And for the first time, he really has a friend. Not the first time, he was friends with Batgirl, I think, before, but he has like a semblance of like a best friend and a partner and a comrade, and someone that's about the same age as him, that's kind of going through similar things that he's gone through before, where he's this you know, Superboy in here is getting used to the life of being like a superpowered kid and having like a parent that's a superhero, and Damian knows how it is to grow up like that. So it was cool to continue to see them, you know, grow as friends and as partners, and making that development for Damian. Something else that Jess mentioned was the price point on this. It is a $75 book, so it's just, that's one of the things that I've really loved DC for in the past year, is while they've been releasing so many Omnis, they've been releasing a lot of $75 ones, and they're good books too. There's this one and Batman by Morrison, Seven Soldiers by Morrison. So when they release something like this, and it's a solid, pretty thick omnibus with like 23 issues of material, that's a really big reason to get it. It's a value, honestly. 23 issues at $75. You can get it for probably around 40 still online. It's such a good value for the amount of fun that you're going to read in here. Omar mentioned the 12-issue Adventures of the Super Sons. That series is still going from DC. It's basically one 12-issue maxi story, maxi series. Part of me kind of wishes that they had waited and put that in here and just made it a thicker Super Sons omnibus.
No way, man. It would have been canceled.
Yeah, it would have gotten canceled, number one. And number two, it kind of just leaves it open for the fact that they could have more Super Sons material afterwards and just release a lot of smaller books. So we'll probably get an oversized hardcover for Adventures of the Super Sons, and maybe after that they'll get another Super Sons series pop out by another creator. So it just opens them up to releasing a bunch of cheaper books instead of one giant compendium of Super Sons stories. But overall, it's recommended for me. If you've ever been a fan of Damian, which was my main draw on here is Damian being in there and Tomasi writing him, then I highly recommend it. This is a good evolution for that character, as he's not featured too much in like the main Batman books right now. Gabe, your turn.
All right. I don't know if I can say much more than you guys have already said, because I am in total agreement. This is one of the best books that I've read recently. If I would have read this last year, it would have definitely been somewhere on my OmniBros pick of the year for the awards show. It's just like everybody's been saying. It's great. It's fun. It's a fun book. Yes, I even agree with Omar for once that Dynamite issue is a must read. Every issue in this book is 100% a hit. Like, there isn't a single issue in here that is boring or just kind of just is lackluster. Every single issue in here, there's a bunch of little stories. There's a bunch of like 1, 2, maybe 3 issue storylines that we get in here. You get a lot of that. You get a crossover with the Teen Titans that was really fun as well. The only complaint I have, and I think I'm the only person who has a complaint about this book, is none of the issues are numbered. Like, when you're reading through the book, you get to whatever issue you're on, and it's not numbered. It doesn't say like Super Sons 4
and there's no table of contents.
Is there no table of contents either? Jesus.
No.
You guys are so snooty with your expectations of books.
No, I just, you know what? I really hate it where I put a book down and I don't know what issue I left off. Sure, I got a bookmark that I put it in, but I like to be able to say, hey, issue 4 was fantastic because this and this and this, and I really loved what happened in issue 7. Oh, now we're in the Teen Titans book. Oh, now we're back in the Super Sons. I don't think any of the Rebirth stuff in general that I've read recently, including Batman, do they have the issue numbers in the book when you're reading through the book itself. You'll get the cover, you'll get the variant cover, and 16 other variant covers that were made, but it won't say Batman 25. It won't say Super Sons 10 or anything like that. And that makes it a little hard for me to kind of keep up with what's going on, realize where I left off, because a lot of times I'm like, okay, well, I'm about this much left into reading the book, or I'm like halfway through. It's really hard to kind of gauge where I'm at in the book, or even to be able to say, I liked issue 6 the most. Or that's why we kind of had to call it the Dynamite issue, because it's the Dynamite issue. We know it's like, what is it called? Like Adventures of Super Sons and Dynamite 1 or something, but yeah.
So, like Jonathan Hickman does the same thing when he maps out his Marvel stuff, right? He doesn't like putting the covers in the front. He likes to put them in the back. So it's like you're actually reading a novel.
But he does have a table of contents that you can look at the front and see like individual issues listed out with who was working on each issue. If I'm recalling correctly, I have the book somewhere on my shelf behind me. But I mean, Gabe's right. It shows the cover for the issue, but you don't have it doesn't tell you whether that's, like the first issue in the book, it's like, oh, is that Super Sons issue 1 or is that an issue of Superman?
Exactly. And then with the Teen Titans crossover, other than the art being slightly different, it's really hard to distinguish where you're at in the narrative. But yeah, either way, other than that, I mean, this book is fantastic. I love seeing these kids kind of grow up hating one another. When they get together, they kind of have to play and get along with one another because their dads work together. But that's kind of fun to see Damian give John shit, and he's a little bully, and John knows how to handle him as a bully. And you get a lot of good parenting parts as well with not only Clark, but also Bruce as well, where they kind of look at each other and they go, are we doing the right thing? Are we raising these boys the right way? And it's things like that where this is good for everybody. It's good for if you're a parent, if you're a kid, if you're a teenager. This is definitely a good book to kind of get anybody into reading. I wouldn't say necessarily the omnibus. I wouldn't give, a 10-year-old the omnibus, but I would definitely, recommend trade paperbacks or, a handful of the issues. But yeah, it's excellent. It's one of the best things that came out in a long time from DC. I think it's the last DC omnibus that I was interested in. And now all of them are getting canceled.
No.
It's like it starts with issues, what is this, 10 and 11?
It starts with the Superman issues first.
Superman issues
Where
10
they
and
first meet up. Yeah.
And then it's the holiday special, the story from that, and then it goes into the first issue of Super Sons, and then Dino Mud is at the very end, it looks like.
I think that's what messed me up, because that holiday issue is just a bunch of, like, it's an anthology. It's a bunch of, like, 3-4 page, like, stories. And I was like, what's going on here? This is really weird. And the thing with anthologies is, you get 8 anthologies, maybe 3 of them you like, and the rest of them you don't like. So it kind of made it a little bit of an awkward turning point when you got to that part of the storyline.
Sure.
But I mean, outside of that, that's just a small nitpick. That's something that, can be fixed if they decide to change the way they do things and then label the issue numbers. But yeah, that's I've said all this before. I think I reviewed it earlier because I didn't think I was going to be on a review show because I didn't get a review copy. But yeah, so this is we're all pretty unanimous in this part, and that's great.
And we get to see the girls on Sunday are also going to do a review.
I think it's Saturday.
Saturday? Okay. Well, the girls this weekend are also going to do a review, so we'll get to see if they enjoyed it as much as we did.
If they any of them say they hate it, I'm just going to just ban them from the channel.
They won't. They'll love it like we did.
So really quick before I go, shout out to In Stock Trades for the review copies that we got.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Except for Gabe. Bye.
It's all good. We that's just the way it works.
All right, guys, I'm out of here. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Thanks, Omar.
Thank you all.
Bye, Raw Shark.
Raw Shark.
And I'm going to peace out as well so that hopefully I can still do a show on Thursday because I need to get back on schedule for that.
Okay. That just leaves Gabe. Where can they find you on the internet, Ryley?
You can find me here. You can find me on my channel, Ryleymo, Ryleymo. I'm going to do, before we move, I have to pack all of this up, and it's going to mostly be in storage for 6 months. So I'm going to do one final collection video before moving, because I'm going to have like 2 shelves with me in the apartment before we get our house. And then you can find me on the Facebook group, of course, the Omnibus Collectors Comic Swap and Community. And if you're into manga and anime and stuff, I'm also on the Otaku's Farm, which is focused mostly on that stuff, but all the same people that you would interact with on the main group.
Cool. Very cool. All right, then. Thank you for joining us.
Yep. Thank you.
I'm going to focus. I'm going to get the feed on Gabe because apparently I'm still sucky.
All right. Well, I'll check you guys later. Peace out.
Okay. Take it easy.
All right, man. Bye.
Can you hear me okay, Gabe?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay. I'm just going to keep it on you so they see me laggy and the little part down below, and they can hear my voice normally, but they won't see awful lag. I don't understand it. I can't imagine why it's lagging this badly, even after I rebooted. But why don't we just talk about, since we've got the focus on you, why don't we talk about the previews and what's coming up tomorrow from InStockTrades.com.
All right, so give me a second. I wasn't quite ready for that because of all the weird stuff that happened already. Give me 2 seconds.
Okay, that's fine. Silly name. I will check the email and then check the Omnibus Collectors group and see what I can do. I will check the email and get it going. That's for silly name. Cool. Okay. Let's see.
Are you set? I think I'm screen sharing. I have the previews up here. Do you have the price list?
I do.
All right. I think if I remember the email correctly, there was a little bit of a note on there we might want to go over to when we get to that point.
Oh yeah, that's right. Do you want to talk about it now or wait until we get?
Let's wait till we get to that book.
Okay. because I deleted the email, so I now that you reminded me, I do remember what he said.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool. All right, so let's go ahead and do this then. All right, so starting here are this week for the week of February 13th. This is what you can expect to find on InStock Trades, our fantastic sponsor, InStockTrades.com, or at your local comic book store if you have a great shop that you support. So let's go and start here with the publisher of Image Comics. We have Birthright Volume 7. I'm a little taken back that that's on Volume 7. Awesome.
That is, yeah.
Hey Kids Comics trade paperback. This is a Howard Shaken, old man on top of the mountain, old man yelling at the cloud type of story here. Because it is Howard Shaken, and he's a big old sourpuss. Hit Girl Volume 3 in Rome, and Rumble Volume 5.
Ooh, good. I like Rumble.
I haven't read a single thing about Rumble.
It's good.
I like Ryley Rossmold's art because I really liked what he did with that book Rasputin, but I haven't really followed him on to anything else. I haven't followed him on like what's the book he's doing now? Martian Manhunter. DC Comics. I'm sorry, Dark Horse has a very small week. You have EC Archives Piracy and Plants vs. Zombies. IDW has Johnny Boo as King and Jungle Girls. Ooh la la. And DC, as long as these things don't get canceled in the next 30 minutes, we should see these in stores. Starting with Batman, the Caped Crusader Volume 2. And finally, here's the big must-have, must-read, must-pick up. Pick up extra copies and give them to your friends. Mr. Miracle by Tom King and Mitch Gerrits. And then we have Neil Gaiman's Charles Vest Stardust trade paperback. No idea what that is. Suicide Squad, Hell to Pay, and Titans Volume 5, The Spark. This is interesting. Torso is getting a new printing here now that Bendis is at DC. Torso's a fantastic book. This is way back before Bendis was Bendis. And he wrote this along with his friend Mark Andreyko. This is a wonderful crime novel all about I can't think of the guy's name now. Yeah, not just Al Capone, but the detective.
Elliot Ness.
Elliot Ness. There you go. It's all about Elliot Ness. This is before he became a part of like the whole Untouchables thing. This is when he was taking on Al Capone, which is before all the Al Capone stuff, and he was getting into the murders of homeless people in Cleveland. So this is a great book. The art in it's really fantastic, really fun. And again, if you like crime stuff, this is the stuff that made Bendis famous for who he was, got him to where he is today. Whether you like him or not, you can't take away what he did here with his crime books. He is definitely up there. If you're a crime comic fan, he's right up there with the top of the top. I'm talking Ed Brubaker. I'm talking, damn it, I can't think of anybody's name right now. Greg Rucka and the likes of that. Yeah, he's a part of that pantheon of authors for the stuff. So definitely check that out. All right. And then we get the Wonder Woman by Phil Jimenez omnibus as well. All right. So with Marvel, we have it's a lot of Captain Marvel this week, it looks like.
Yeah.
Captain Marvel, Earth's Mightiest Hero, Volume 5. And then we get the Captain Marvel, A Hero is Born omnibus hardcover.
And those are 50% off.
The omnibus hardcover is?
Correct.
All right. I think we talked about this before. I think this stuff, most of it, if not all of this content, was also included in the earlier Epic collection that came out a few weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
But of course, the DM cover is always the better looking cover.
That is a good cover.
Yeah. Daughters of Dragon trade paperback. Marvel's Decades. This is the 1950s decades with Captain America. Ooh, this is cool. I haven't seen these in a while. Excalibur Epic Collection. And then we got Hulk, Dogs of War. And one of the best books of last year, we're getting volume 2 of Immortal Hulk. That's a fantastic series. What does this collect?
That Hulk Dogs of War is 50% off, so it'll be $50.
Nice.
Immortal Hulk is 42% off.
And then we have Infinity War 2-in-1, the Infinity War trade paperback. So if anybody, even us, that read that Guardians of the Galaxy omnibus by Jerry Duggan, this is the next stepping stone.
Okay.
And then we got Marvel Masterworks, Luke Cage, Power Man Volume 3.
Those are 50% off.
Was that the one that had wasn't that the one that had the note we were talking about before, Jess?
Oh, the DM or the special, the yellow copy there?
Right, the DM variant.
Yeah, go ahead and tell them what's going on with that.
So it just basically, it looks like in stock trades, their order for this book got shorted for this week. And I think they said they're getting a very limited number. I might be wrong in my memory, but I think that number was 1 copy.
Yeah.
And the rest of the copies are expected to arrive next week. So if you're looking for Luke Cage, Power Man, Volume 3, the DM cover, you're going to have to wait till next week to pick that up. And then we have Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Man Volume 5 and the Spider-Geddon trade paperback.
Have you read that at all?
I have not.
Okay.
What issues are in here? Is it just Spider-Geddon or is it a bunch of the other stuff? Spider-Geddon 025 and Vault of Spiders 1 through 2. I'll pick this up and read it. With these crazy Spider-Verse, like all these kind of crossovers where it seems like they're crossing over to multiple titles.
Yeah.
Instead of me trying to keep up with it on the singles, which I've been staying away from singles for a long, long time. I'll pick this up and read it for sure. I'll check it out.
The Spider-Man from the PS4 game is in this.
Nice.
I gotta play that still.
Boom Studios has Giant Days Volume 9. Jesus Christ, that's a lot of volumes. Great Wiz and Ruckus and Thrilling Adventure, Our Martian Manhunt trade paperback. No idea what those are. And then here's all kind of like the lower back half stuff. See if there's anything in here. This is usually the part where Omar goes, clicking all this weird manga stuff. But there's usually like 1 or 2 kind of cool things in here sometimes. This long con here is really fun. It's about guys who are attempting to con a comic book convention. They're trying to do a big heist at a comic book convention. Because
I think I heard about this book.
Yeah. I think that's it.
All righty.
Nothing else on here. So my big pick for this week, Jess, is Mr. Miracle. Paperback.
Yeah, I'm excited to read that. I haven't read it at all.
All right.
Yeah, I haven't read that at all, so I'm very excited to read that. Okay. Well, we covered previews. We covered Super Sons. This would be a good time to talk about InStockTrades.com, where you can get your collected editions up to 50% off. Loyalty discounts at 2% to that. Over $50 in an order gets you free shipping in the United States. Fabulous customer service, fabulous packaging. That's InStockTrades.com. And there's a question about the Wonder Woman book. Is it worth it? I haven't read any of it, so I know lots of people like Phil Jimenez, his art, right? He's the artist and writer on that book. Am I correct?
I believe he is. I don't know anything about it. I wasn't a big Wonder Woman follower at that time. I'll be right.
Okay, so we've got me and the crappy connection. Sorry, guys. Gabe had a sudden emergency, so we've got me and no picture on the show right now. So I will have to. Let's see. Mr. Miracle, Jeremy Wilson is 42% off. Let's see. I'll read off what the 50%ers. That's what I can do. 50% off is Ms. Marvel, Captain Marvel Omnibus. That's 50% off. Let's see. Hulk Dogs of War hardcover is 50% off. This is on InStockTrades.com. And
I'm back.
Oh, good. Thank goodness. Wonder Woman by Phil Jimenez Omnibus is also 50% off. And those are the 50% off books.
So the writer is Phil Jimenez, others for the writing duties on it. So I don't know what that means. Okay. Oh, because there's other stuff in here like Wonder Woman's Secret Files and Return of Donna Troy. Those are probably written by other authors. But cool. You want to do some Q&A, or are you ready to bounce out? It's been an hour. We've had 2 episodes today. I'm burnt out.
I can answer questions if people don't mind just this logo answering questions for them, because my picture's not even appearing anymore.
It's weird. I see you. But yeah. So Omnipool asked, do you think the variant cover for Ms. Marvel will sell out quick like Conan? I will say
I don't think so.
Yeah, it'll sell out, but I don't think it's going to sell out like in 30 minutes like Conan did. I don't think there's a huge audience at the moment for Ms. Marvel. I don't think anybody really asked or wanted or was banging the drum for this omnibus. I think it's out there to kind of generate this type of material because of the movie. I've never really read this stuff. I just don't care too much about that character, especially in her Bronze Age appearance. Like her newer stuff is really cool. I enjoy, but her Bronze Age stuff, I don't care about. And there's an Epic collection out anyway, so I don't know if I personally will drop that kind of money for the omnibus of that book. But I don't think it's going to sell out right away. I think it will sell out because the DM covers are always the ones that sell out. But I don't think you need to sit at In Stock Trades hitting the F5 button tomorrow to get it. Mr. Miracle is 50. Oh, no, I'm sorry. What was the Mr. Miracle discount at, Jeff? It's 42? Excellent. Not bad.
No. That's now I like Ms. Marvel, Captain Marvel, Bronze Age. I kind of like that time period, so I will probably get that. But I definitely want to get Mr. Miracle. I mean that I will read as soon as the box gets opened at my house.
Yeah, I can't wait to read that. I'm gonna grab it tomorrow from the store. I'll read it. I'm gonna wait for the hardcover to buy it, but I'm definitely going to read it because I'm not gonna announce anything, but there's something going on revolving around stuff for that book. But yeah.
Wait, what book?
Mr. Miracle.
Oh, okay. Okie dokie.
Somebody's asking who's the artist for the Hulk Dog of Wars. I know that's John Romita. Oh no, he did the cover. It's Ron Garney and Mike McCone is the art for Dogs of War. With Sean McKeever on the writing of it. Here's a good question, Jess. You ready for kind of a long answer?
Sure.
All right. So Vast Minecraft Boy, Legos, Gaming, Comics, and More.
That's some name.
Yeah, that was a mouthful. My best friend wants to start reading comics. What do I tell him to read?
Oh, wow. We get this question a lot, and I always wonder, do you have a ready answer?
Yeah, I have a go-to answer for this.
Okay.
I get this all the time.
Oh.
There is no perfect book for your friend to start off with. Vast Minecraft Boy, Legos, Gaming, Comics, and More. There's a few things that I can give you great answers. I could tell you what book he might like and give you some suggestions, but I need to know, what does he like now? Like, what movies does he like? What TV shows does he like? Does he like any of the Marvel movies, the DC movies, anything like that? Because there isn't a flat out way to tell somebody that here is Watchmen. You need to read it, because Watchmen might completely turn them off because maybe they're not interested in those types of stories where it comes down to, maybe he doesn't like superheroes. Maybe he's more of a crime reader or something like that. I get this question asked a lot, especially it's usually with the caveat of, I want to get my girlfriend into comics. It's almost like saying, what should I tell my friend to eat at a restaurant? Well, what does your friend like? What does he not like? What has he tried before? There's things like that, those types of ingredients that I would need to kind of plug in whatever kind of formula I might come up in my mind to kind of pinpoint your friend into a great comic that they could read into. But I mean, kind of just a general, just flat out suggestion. Batman Hush is a good kind of starting point. Jeff Johns is Green Lantern. Miles Morales, Spider-Man. And Mark Waid's Daredevil. I think those are really good books that you could just drop on anybody's lap and they'll enjoy. Maybe he likes something indie. Maybe he's more of an indie person. Then I could think of maybe Invincible, maybe Walking Dead, maybe something else like that. But give us some more ideas about your friend, and we can come up maybe better answers for you. What do you think, Jess?
I think you said it exactly right. It's hard to suggest a book to somebody unless you know what their tastes are, because what I like is not necessarily going to be what he likes. Like, the book that got me back into comics was, you mentioned it, Watchmen. But I was a seasoned comics reader at that time and knew how special it was. If somebody's brand new to comics, I don't know if they're going to realize how special that is.
Right.
And I don't know.
And maybe he's a little younger. Maybe he doesn't get the 1980s like references and the Vietnam War like connections and stuff like that. And it's really hard because you kind of get this one chance to turn your friend on to comics. If you hand him something terrible, then he might just be turned off in general.
Maybe like Superman Birthright or Superman Secret Identity. I remember really like those. I really liked those books, and they seem to be really, really interesting without being, controversial or anything. But they really were written really well, and they were a good superhero book. Those two.
Chase Chu in the chat is a terrible person. He said, "Tell him jump right into Lost Girls."
Chase Chu brought me root beer at Baltimore Con, but yeah, that's the last nice thing he did, because that's a terrible suggestion.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where, like, I can suggest what my favorite books are, things that got me back into comics. But it might not work for your friend. What you like might not work for him as well. All-Star Superman, that's a pretty good choice too. Matt Miranda, that might be the only good Grant Morrison choice. Even that, though, comes with a lot of like Grant Morrison Silver Age. I knew about this, and I'm going to show you how cool I am and how much I know about comic book history. References and anecdotes in there as well. Ultimate Spider-Man, that's one of the things that got me back into reading Spider-Man. I dropped off Spider-Man hardcore. I dropped it like a hot potato after the Clone Saga. Not because of the Clone Saga, but because I've said this before, but because of the whole Mary Jane and Peter Parker losing their baby and then being told it was a stillborn, that was too heavy for me at 16 or whatever age I was at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so let us know what he likes. You know, does he like Batman? There's a handful of Batman books that he'd probably enjoy. I wouldn't even say anything like Dark Knight Returns. I think you have to be a little bit more of a seasoned Batman fan to appreciate Dark Knight.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, so find out a little bit more about that person. I'd like to. Boys Ranch is a great book, Michael Lombardo. I love that book by Jack Kirby.
Yeah, Dave K's got ideas. Is if they like Star Wars, get them Saga. I think that matches up pretty well.
Yeah.
Or if they like Star Wars, hey, there's Star Wars comics. You know,
that are really good, getting put out now.
Apparently.
Yeah, you're not the guy to ask.
Yeah, that'd be like somebody going, "Oh, Gabe, you like comics? Here's a Star Wars comic." I'm like, ugh. Yeah, that would totally turn me off. You know, maybe he's not into superheroes. You can always start with like Fables. I think that might be a good
Fables is a great idea. I was thinking about that one.
Yeah.
That would be, I think, a really good book to start somebody off on.
Or even another thing, it might not even be comics to get him into comics. Now that I kind of think about it for a second. It might even be maybe like something like the new Justice League cartoon that's on the DC app. Or any of those animated movies. Maybe something like that might spark some interest in comics. Batman Bad Blood is one of my favorite Batman animated series. Maybe that'll get them to like Batman or be interested in reading Batman stuff. You get Batman, you get Batwoman in there as well. You know, it might be something like that. That's always a good idea too. Start them off with other things. But again, it just depends on what they like. I don't know about Justice League Unlimited, Mr. Awesome. I don't know about that. Oh, the comic, okay, or the TV show. That might be good too, because I've introduced them to a lot of characters, and you might find a favorite character. And you go, oh, hey, did you know Aquaman? He has such and such books.
I can't. I'm pretty sure I'm getting that streaming service because Doom Patrol is looking really cool to me.
Yeah, I got it. I've been watching Young Justice season 3. I haven't gotten much into anything else because right now all that matters is Young Justice to me.
Yeah, you signed up right on the air, didn't you?
Yeah, I did when I found out that was up and going.
Is our seasons 1 and 2 on the app?
They are.
Okay.
So you can definitely start that from the beginning. Or just watch those episodes over and over and over and over again because they're really great. You haven't watched any Young Justice, have you, Jeff?
I haven't, no. Sounds like I should.
It's excellent.
And are you watching this on your computer or your phone, or what are you watching it on?
On my TV, because you can actually get the DC app on a Fire Stick.
Ah, okay.
There's no tricks, there's no hacks, there's no like sacrificing animals or dark internet stuff or anything like that. You just download it.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, Peter David has written for Young Justice. The head writer, Greg Weisman, was also the head writer and creator of Disney's Gargoyles.
Hmm. And it's $7 or $8 a month?
$8 a month, yeah.
$8 a month, okay.
Yeah. I just have it connected to my PayPal, so. And I heard that in countries outside of America, where I guess the DC Universe app is only like is region locked for America, that Teen Titans and these other shows are popping up on Netflix.
Hmm. Oh, Vast Minecraft Boy, Legos Gaming Comics, and more has an answer. He went to ask his friend what he likes. So now we can figure it out.
All right, I asked him. He said he likes Deadpool, Spider-Man, Iron Man, and superhero manga. So if you like Spider-Man, I 100% suggest the Ultimate Spider-Man series. I think that's a great jumping on point for anybody. It's a whole new universe. It's the start of this whole new universe. So there's really no continuity to bog anybody down. Continuity is probably one of the scariest things that anybody who wants to get into comic books will face, is continuity and, you know, this whole shared universe thing that's really hard to kind of map out and control. So Ultimate Spider-Man will be my suggestion if you like Spider-Man. I would definitely say go over Ultimate Spider-Man.
And I will recommend the Deadpool run by Posehn and Duggan. And also the Spider-Man Deadpool book by Joe Kelly. Those are both easily available. Deadpool by Posehn and Duggan, it was just funny as heck and really well done, with good character development on Deadpool and some of the other characters in the book. And then Spider-Man Deadpool was by Joe Kelly, is really good. This is the wrong team to ask about superhero manga.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Gabe and I are absolutely not in tune with that.
But just by judging that type of stuff that he likes, so he likes superheroes, he likes Deadpool, he likes Spider-Man, so he likes, assuming he likes like quippy type characters and things like that too. So maybe even Matt Fraction's Hawkeye.
Oh yeah, good idea. Is the current Duggan Deadpool run over? I don't know the answer to that. Do you?
Yeah, it's over because right now it's Scotty Young writing Deadpool.
Right, Scotty Young's doing it now.
Yeah. And the Joe Kelly Deadpool is a great suggestion. That's my favorite Deadpool. That's the Deadpool. Joe Kelly writing Deadpool is what made Deadpool who he is today. Like the whole breaking the fourth wall and the jokes and the character development all came from there. The Omnibus is super out of print, but you could find the Deadpool Classics trade paperbacks anywhere, everywhere, super cheap. And those would be really good for him to pick up. Or even, you know, maybe he has access to the Marvel Unlimited app as well.
Yeah. I don't know the answer to the question, which story arc is the basis of the next Hellboy film. I haven't seen enough of it to recognize the storyline.
Luis said it before, but I've read maybe 30 pages of Hellboy in my life, so I don't know the names of any of the story arcs to remember what he said. Something Coffin, I think, was one of them.
Yeah, I'm really behind on my Hellboy.
Yeah. Mr. Awesome. Anything by Kelly is too iconic. Chained Coffin. I think that's one of them. Yeah, like Rick Nelson said, it's like 3 or 4 stories in one. It's not one total. They're not trying to adapt one complete story. Dave K is like me, so he's read 0 Hellboy, but he has not seen the movies. I've seen the movies. I wasn't too excited about the movies.
I liked them both. I especially liked the first one.
I think the visuals and like the makeup and the props and things like that, like the mindset of Guillermo del Toro, I think is great. Just some of those movies just wasn't doing it for me.
Okay, well, I am needed upstairs.
Yeah.
Upper level management has requested my presence at a meeting.
All right, I'm ready to get out of here too, man.
This is mandatory.
I'm gonna go watch some Young Justice.
Where can they find you on the internet, Gabe?
YouTube, Instagram, Gabe Infinity Watch, and you can find me on the Omnibus Collectors Facebook group.
And you can find me, Omnidog, on hopefully lag-free Omnidog's Vault on YouTube and on Instagram, Omnidogs_Vault. So thank you to IST for our copies of Super Sons and for being our sponsor and for just existing in general. And thank you to the chat tonight. Thank you for your patience putting up with my laggy internet connection, which is very weird. I can't understand it, but I appreciate everybody hanging in there. So peace and love, peace and love. Thank you very much.
And Dave K, real quick, I'll send out your Ninjak sometime this week. I just got to get a box from work, and boxes coming tomorrow. So that'll be in the mail soon. Peace and love. Smoke crack, worship Satan.